Ubumi, Uvanga Atiga Margaret Nuxon Elias, Quyanaq Qaikaffi Pangma Nunaptingnun. Good afternoon. My name is Margaret Nuxon Elias, and welcome to Where We Live Now. Today, on today's show, we have my good friend, my childhood friend, Donald Kuptana. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. So, the way I like to start off every single show is I ask the guests if they can tell me and everyone else watching who you are exactly the same way you would as if you were talking to an elder. So when an elder wants to know who you are, they ask you who your family is and where you're from, where your family's from. So if you can just let me know who you are.
So last time someone asked me that, they're like, who you are? Who's your parents? I'm Kuptan, Donald Kuptana. Who? I'm like, Donald Kuptana. Oh, whose one you are? Donald and Lucy. Oh, okay.
Okay, so exactly like that, but with a little bit more detail, just because we're on TV. So
yeah, well, I introduced myself. I'm Donald Kuptana, and I'm like, who? I'm like, Donald Kuptana. We're in the Kitty Hall, so it's kind of hard to hear. And yeah, we were just sitting there. I was just laughing because I could barely hear too, right? And we were sitting there and like, Donald Kuptana, Donald Kuptan. Oh, whose one you are? Yeah. So it was funny. I was busy. I was doing the demonstrations too at the same time. So
yeah. So you're originally from?
I was born in Inuvik, and then lived in Tuk till I was 11, 12 years old. 12, no. And I moved to Inuvik, attended school.
Yeah.
No.
And who are your parents?
Donald Kuptana Jr. And Lucy Kuptana.
Lucy Kuptana,
Yeah.
yes. And both of your parents are from Tuk?
Yes.
Yes.
Grew up in Tuk. And Inuvik.
And Inuvik.
And Inuvik.
Yeah.
Just like me.
And so your whole family's from Tuk. Do you mind telling me who your grandparents are? I think I remember. So Donald.
Yeah, so there's Donald Kuptana Sr. And Bessie Kuptana.
And they're from Tuk too.
And they're from Tuk, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, we're childhood friends. You moved when you were 12, and that broke my heart. I still, so Kyle and I Kyle and I, we did fall out of touch. Our lives did like grow up, but we recently became friends again. And but just for context, your parents and my parents used to be BFFs back in the day, in like the 90s. And Kyle and I actually grew up together. And I still remember the day Junior and Lucy and my mom and dad sat me, you, and Gerald down. Like, this is how much I remember that you guys were going to move here to Inuvik. And my heart shattered and broke. And I cried to my mom, and I told her that you were my best friend, and my best friend was going to be moving away. And I cried. And then I had to become friends with girls. I mean, I was 12.
Yes.
And then we only saw each other like that. Okay, we used to like play every single day, but then we only saw each other a couple of times a year after that. Yeah. So in that time, a lot has happened.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. So tell me a bit about yourself, and just explain just things that you've gotten to experience. I know that you're still closely connected to your culture and the activities that we like to do. So do you mind just telling me a little bit about some of that?
Well, starting off, like I said, we did move here, and I still attended Arctic sports. I still attended sports and baseball, and I got into coaching, and it just moved along from there. A lot of things, I got to experience a lot of travel for Arctic sports, and a few events for baseball and a little bit of hockey here and there. But yeah, the coaching has brought me all over the communities, and even down south to Olympics. And
so you've done coaching too, on top of, like, you've done, besides just performing, you've also done coaching for Arctic sports?
Yeah, so we traveled to Укlavik, traveled to Fort Smith, and went there and did school events. Like we traveled to school, did demonstration, did a whole gym class with pretty much every age group that was there. And I traveled with a lot of people. Majority of it was with my dad. Yeah.
So, and that's what I was going to say. You come from like a long line of family who are in sports and volunteering and coaching, correct? Like it just kind of like, it's in your family's blood. Like that's what you guys do. Yeah. So a lot of everything you learned, would you say, came from your dad?
Yes, a lot of it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And little tricks here and there I picked up from my uncles. You know, it's been fun.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you remember when you first joined Arctic sports?
So I remember it. I was probably around 6, 7 years old. And I remember Edgar, Quyanaq, and Guluk were having it at Kitty Hall. And there was like a Northern Games or something happening at that point, and they said, if you kick this high, you could come with us. So we went to practices, and we still couldn't kick it. Yeah. We went, like, we did go. Edgar saw, like, how much we tried, so we did go, me and Brent, and man. It was just, that memory will always be with me, because the way Brent would kick, he'd jump so far and put his leg straight out and then land every time.
Brent is tall, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but he said 5'6", kick 5'6", and we'll bring you. I don't think we kicked 5'4", but he still brought us.
That's good. I only bring up that because, like, thinking back to when we were like friends, I remember going. I don't know if you remember me being there, because I remember watching. You guys were like focused, but I remember going to that same and watching, not kicking. I was just watching, and I remember thinking, like, I'm gonna join Arctic sports. And then at the exact same time, there was Strings Across the Sky, which is fiddling. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna actually join fiddling instead. Like, typical Margaret, I'm gonna join this, I'm gonna join that. You carried on with Arctic sports. I did not. So, with Arctic sports and traveling, what is like other things that you've been able to do? Or what is like one of your most, do you mind sharing some memories of like things you've gotten to do?
So my first Arctic Winter Games that I went to was in 2004. And that was the first time I ever saw the game. It's called Buck Buck, where you have one guy against the wall and then everyone just piles on.
My goodness.
Yeah, and I remember that because there was about 20 of us all in one pile, and this one guy at the end, he was the smallest guy, and you had to get right up on top. And I was just looking, I'm like, looking back, I'm like, there's no way he's getting up there. I was looking straight up, I'm like, there's no way. Sure enough, he ran as fast as he could, tripped, fell on us. All of us fell at once, and we were like, couldn't just jump on us, right?
Yeah.
You had to fall, knock us all.
20 kids piled up?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What's the purpose of that game?
It's just
Like-
it's an icebreaker game, right?
Oh,
You
okay.
get everyone comfortable and play a game,
Yeah.
and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're like you're not just watching, because that would be comical to watch, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's fun even while you're doing that.
Oh yeah, it is, because you're like, there's no way there's another person gonna win. There's no way.
And there always seems to be.
Yeah, there always is.
When you've had to demonstrate, because you've done a lot of demonstration, do you ever get nervous?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Every time. 'Cause there's always something you're gonna say, and you're gonna mix up your words, and you'll be like, "Oh, don't catch that." I'm just gonna tease you the whole time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
We can show this. This is some of the demonstration. So this is what? This is the Northern Games.
We just had the past summer.
Yeah, that we just had. This was like the pamphlet, right? So if you look in it, there's some pictures of Kyle in there. So we have a video, I think, of a blanket toss. Can you tell me, like, you've done blanket toss?
Yes, I have.
You have? Have you been the one to go up or just pulling?
I've done both.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the one pulling.
What's it like when you're being tossed up in the air?
It's a moment where you feel weightless, like you're weightless, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get up there and you're just looking, you're like, yeah. Then you go back down, and it's good. But that moment where your feet leave, you're like, oh my God.
Well, can you tell me what's the purpose of blanket toss?
So the blanket toss was just basically a scouting tool, right? So you get up, you'd look in one direction, go back down, get thrown back up, look in another direction. And that's where most of the things they do, like person would get up and spin right around, you know, to catch.
Yeah.
But over the years, it's
Like a demonstration now?
It's more of a demonstration.
Yeah.
And I've seen some kids do some crazy things like triple flips, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Have you ever led the blanket toss? Because I know there has to be a leader, right? Like a director for the pulling. Is that right? Am I understanding that right?
So there's always been just one person speaking, one person giving commands.
Yeah.
And it's usually, the way we did it was my dad always did it, or Edward Lenny would do it. And that was it. You listen. You don't do anything else, or you get scolding, you know? It's just that kind of thing.
Because it's risky, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, the blanket's not very big compared to how they used to be.
Oh, they used to be bigger?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I've seen one in Alaska made of walrus, and it was huge.
Oh, my goodness. So we're going to play the clip.
Okay.
Yeah. like a short clip that we had from the Northern Games in Tuktoyaktuk in 2024. And who was leading that one? Was that your dad?
Yes, that was my dad.
That was your dad leading that one? And that was Gemma, right? That was,
yes.
I think, doing the flips? Yeah. We have a great photo of that. You can see it on the, is it on the ICS Facebook page, I think, that you could see? Oh, we have it blown up in the hallway, too.
Nice.
It is quite a nice photo.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit more of your Arctic sports, because that's where I have the most. That's what I'm interested in. What can I ask you? What your record for 1 foot high kicking is?
Only a few people see me kick what I kick, so. In competition, I kicked 8-8, and I just missed 8-10.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't need to say anything. That's high enough for me.
8-8 is
That's
quite
pretty
high. That's insane. I remember talking to Guluk and KK, and they said theirs was like 5-8. Was it 5-9, I think, was their records, and back then that was really high. Oh. Can you imagine? I can't imagine how in 30 years people kick so much higher now.
Well, also back in the day, people didn't run like we did.
Oh, yeah.
They would just stand there and go straight up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
More traditionally, that's how it was taught. You don't run, you stand there and do it.
Yeah. Goluk tells a story of when he watched someone do a backflip when they did a high kick. And I think, if I remember the story correctly, my Uncle Ed said that that's not a qualifying kick because he kicked so high, but he did, because he did the flip with it, that was like a disqualification in the kick, so he had to re-kick again and not flip backwards.
Man, if I could do that, I'd do that too.
Yeah. So when you're doing all of this, do you ever get into the social games too? Do you ever demonstrate with those?
All the time.
All the time?
I love the...
Do you not get shy?
No.
No?
You get shy, you get picked on more. So you have to know more. You can't just sit there and be all quiet. That's
you sound like you learned that from your dad.
Oh, yeah.
We got your dad to MC our wedding, and we wanted to like have games because it was like we weren't drinking, so we were going to make it about laughter. And he brought on the social games, and man, people were laughing. Like, no one expected that. I didn't expect it, and it was my wedding, and he just a pro, put the whole thing together. But we had to do the animal calling. Yep, that one's fun.
Yeah. My dad always does the animal call with the dancing, with the
yes,
drum dancing.
Yes, that's exactly what we had to do with the drum dancing. Yeah. It didn't count if you didn't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm like, come on. Made him laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you hope to do? Like, I know right now you're a mechanic in Tuck. But what are some things that you hope to do? Because I know that your parents have done a lot in terms of volunteering and giving back to the community. And I'm just assuming, but I think that the community really missed having them there and doing all the organizing the community and the recreation events. Do you have any plans, you think, of stuff that you would like to get involved in? Or are you involved?
No, that's the thing. I want to get into the Northern Games role and be a big part player in that, because with this past Northern Games that they had, I did see the commitment and the effort that it took everyone to do. And I helped where I could, but they did beyond everything they could do. And I was like, wow. Like people are going to bed 4 or 5 and getting up at 8 and preparing meals, and here I am just sleeping till 10. And I'm like,
waiting till you have to demonstrate.
Yeah, right? But yeah, just to see the amount of stuff that they do, I'd love to get involved with that.
Because I think that you would be good at that. Again, I'm just assuming because you probably know how to officiate now.
Oh, I can officiate, and I've been doing it slowly, getting into it.
Yeah.
I've always just been the demonstrator.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm learning from my dad and Quyanaq and Jerry, CK, and they're like, yep.
No,
like,
no.
I didn't see a thing. How did you see that?
In talking of all of that, I have a book here, and it's our Tuktoyaktuk magazine. Yeah, you were on it. This is an issue from the summer of 2008. We were just babies. Can you tell me what you were given? Why were you in this magazine, first of all?
So it's on for role model.
Being a role
National
model.
Aboriginal role model. And so in 2 summers, I went out pretty much every day with a small group of boys for baseball.
Okay.
And that's Scotty and Jordan, the younger group, right? And we spent hours out of the field, and we didn't even have a field. We had a soccer field.
I remember that.
We play that all the time. And I got nominated for it, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I didn't think anything of it, you know. And then I got a call, and like, you got this award. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, how do you, like, thank you, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it says here, and I'm just going to read the very beginning of it. Kyle Kuptana is definitely going to remember this year's Aboriginal Day, back when it was, is it still called? I don't think it's called Aboriginal Day anymore. His day began in Ottawa, where the Governor-General of Canada, in partnership with the National Aboriginal Health Organization, presented him with the National Aboriginal Role Model Award. So you got a National Aboriginal Role Model Award in Ottawa.
Yes.
And you were there for Aboriginal Day?
All the role models I got the award, we traveled there together, did a course in just to help us with like certain things, you know, like how to write a proper resume and stuff like that. And we were supposed to write a speech, and then I showed up 2 days late, and I was like, I don't have a speech. Am I supposed to give a speech? And like, no, you don't have to give a speech. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Thanks. It's like, oh my God. Just went there and met everyone, and we did a whole bunch of traditional games there, and it was so much fun.
So you did stuff there too in Ottawa? Like you did demonstration and games and stuff there too?
Yeah, just with the group that was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't in front of anybody?
No, it was more of a setting, a private setting. Out picnicking, kind of say. And then I just demonstrated the games to them.
Nice.
And yeah, we did a lot of fun things. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That was my first time at Ottawa. It was awesome.
And now you're forever on a Tuktoyaktuk magazine. Forever. We have copies here at ICS, if anybody wants them. Kyle.
No.
Kyle. He's been saying that the whole time. No. And we also have another clip that we wanted to play. And what was that one about? I don't think I've seen that one. Short documentary?
The meaning of good man, good woman.
Yeah.
The meaning of good man, good woman. Good man, good woman.
Yeah.
Before we start that, can you explain a little bit of what that is?
So at every Northern Games there was the kicking, and the traditional part of it was the seal skinning, muskrat skinning, goose plucking, tea boiling, bannock making, you know, and that was the events that everyone did, and everyone learned from, everyone watched. You know, it wasn't just the kickers; it was all that. Because for me, I was watching my auntie Kathy do it, and she was fleshing a seal, and she was fast and amazing. It just got it done, put it in your mouth, and just started flushing. I was like, wow, that's fast. But yeah, it was great because my grandpa as well, he was always participated in Tommy Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched him do the tea boiling. I watched the little tricks here and there, and I vaguely remember, but yeah.
So we're going to play that clip. And that one I think is cool.
I think that Good Woman is a game where they show their skills in the traditional, their traditional way, like tea boiling, bannock making, seal skinning, muskrat skinning, and I really believe that how they got this together was because that's how you have to live off the land. You learn to be warm, so you have to make a fire, and then you learn to harvest your food, so you get the animals, and so it's. I'm glad that they really showcase that because, like our culture, still lives on, and when I think of the Good Woman and Good Man event, that would bring me back to 1970 when they were listening to it on the radio, and it was so, I think it was so inspirational back then that it carried through to like today, and I'm just happy to be part of it. That's what the Good Man and Good Woman depicts the event.
Showing your hunting skills, your survival skills, like the tea boiling, making a fire out of nothing, or just a match, no lighters. And, seal skinning, showing your skills how to properly harvest and skin the seal, because you use every part of the seal, right? You tear the hide, got no more muck. You got to make sure it's all perfect, right? Perfection. And you don't want to waste nothing. But being a good man is passing on what you know, right? Being a good provider, right?
It's really nice learning from a pro.
It's always good to try something.
Who knows how many countless ones he's skinned, but having a good time.
Back then, you got to be a good provider. Good hunter, good skinner, everything. That's what I think a good man is. And a good woman, the same thing. Same thing. Make a good tea, bannock, good mucklucks. They're the ones that teach the men, how to actually harvest the seal, muskrats, proper perfection, right? You understand? Like they show us, the women show us how to be the good men.
Oh my goodness, I think everybody kind of showed their good womenness this weekend. We had a bunch of ladies in the cook shack doing all these, starting fires, making tea, making cultural foods. We just wanted everybody to be taken care of and fed and just to enjoy and have a good time.
To be a good man, I mean, just being able to actually not only play the Arctic sports, but also be able to work with other people, whether that be making a fire, boiling tea, making bannock. All these are just little skills that eventually our young people will learn. Not if they learn, they will learn if they continue to play the games that we do here. Because being able to pass all that knowledge on, to me, is a good person. Not a good man, not a good woman. We all have all these different skills that we have to learn, especially when we go out on the land on our own. Being able to not only break pieces of wood, it shouldn't be about one gender or anything like that. It's if we're out on the land on our own, we have to be able to do all of these skills. and not just like being able to make fires and stuff like that, but being able to pass that knowledge on no matter what the gender is, because to be able to be a full person, especially as Inuvialuit people, we believe that we have to know all of these skills. So being able to be a good person is passing all this knowledge on. So, yeah.
For me, I think to be a good woman, you have to have the ability to have the skills to keep your family well fed and well clothed. You have to be able to use skills that you have learned from your parents or your grandparents or your in-laws to survive out on the land, and show some integrity, I would say, be a good sport and be willing to help others without, just competing for yourself. You have to help others during the whole entire games. I think the games are so unique because it shows you're not competing to just win. You're competing, and when you see somebody that's not doing too good and they need some help, you go to them and you help them. You help them achieve the finishing off the event. I think there's 3 areas that you have to be a good woman in. And it's to survive on the land, be able to let your family eat, keep your family warm by learning how to sew using the animals that your husband brings back home, and you could, like with the seals, getting the watch, flush your seals, dry them up, and after that you tan them. After you tan the seals, you make a pair of shoes, stuff like that. And also to be able to help your community, to have a strong, vibrant community. I think basically you need to learn your culture to survive and to be a good woman at these games. To be a good woman, every woman is a good woman. But to be a good woman is, to, like I said, always just try, and it's good that they're doing these events and they're involving the elders to have an elder on their team. And that's what we mean about learning from your elders. And it's just so important. It's important all around to have those events, those kind of events, to teach these young people that this is what our people do. This is how we do it. This is, this is important to us. This is part of the Northern Games.
For me, I was watching my grandpa, Tom Ross. He was in the events in Inuvik, and he would do the tea boiling or the bannock making, and he was fast. My dad, he'd be laughing the whole time while doing it. It's just, it's great. Yeah. It means a lot because I could learn little tricks as they're doing it, and I try to do that. And I have my son watching me do these games, and I can see his little things that I do that he does now. It's just passing things down.
Yeah, and every man is always a good woman, no matter what.
I'm so happy you're here.
And then that's
Uncle Robert from Уᕙᒍաթ.
experienced that, and seen my dad at his lowest.
You guys should be up on your hands and your toes, guys. Hands and your toes.
But
hands and your toes up in the air.
They talk together. They have their alone time together. Next day, it's like nothing happened.
So happy that Joyce
Same outgoing,
Thank you, Joyce,
most positive man around.
Right on, boys. Welcome
ready to go again. Night before, saw him at his lowest. That's because he talked with my mom.
Look at that. Tyson's our interpreter.
Mother is so vital in a family, whether it be a small family, big family.
Just as good as interpreter.
Mother is the heart.
William George.
You know, and he used that. He showed me that. So that part there really hits home.
You know, I've known Lucy for 38 years. We've been married for 28 years, and she's the greatest person I know. She's the mother of my two sons, Nanak of my two grandkids, Nicholas and Haley, and you know, we support each other as much as we can so that we could you know, achieve a lot of what we want to do, and this is one of them, our Northern Games, for sure.
Well, it's been a few really tough days because it's a lot of work, but it's so amazing though. We had some really great people and a lot of volunteers, and people just stepped up and said, let's do it. But with Donald, I felt so confident because he was up there, he was managing, he had a whole crew behind him, you know, ready to do whatever needed to be done. And that's the Northern Game Society, is like you have a whole crew of people that are volunteering. They're putting aside time to get things done. And with people like Donald and Jerry, they're there. And then Dang and Hans chipped in, and Joss chipped in, and everybody pulled together. But to be a good man means that, you know, you're taking care of your family, you're protecting them, and you make them feel confident and protected.
Sweetheart, here's a song showing us the love for one another.
So we're back live. Kyle and I are watching the whole thing, talking about everything that's like happening in the interviews and stuff. And at the end, it was drum dancing, and I was like, I'm gonna say, Kyle, that you have to start drum dancing. Like, put it out there on TV right now that you have to start drum dancing. Yeah. So that was a good clip, and that was also from the 2024 Northern Games. 23, yes. 2024 has not happened yet. Hopefully it does. So that was just describing Good Man, Good Woman. That was an excellent little documentary. And you could hear the passion in everyone's voices when, like, they were just so encouraging and really good at explaining. Because it was like the same question over and over, what's a good man or what's a good woman or what's a good person? But every single person had a different answer, I found, when I was watching that clip. Yeah. Did you not? Oh, you did. What did you talk about?
I talked about what I learned and what I seen from my family side of the Good Man, Good Woman events. Mm-hmm. And honestly, for me, like, my first experience with it was with the Northern Games that happened here. Mm-hmm. It was my first time, and I was trying to make tea, and I finally got it done, but my tea was awful.
Why? Did you rip the tea bag or something?
No, I was so focused on the fire, I wasn't paying attention to the tea, but so it bubbled, and like, okay.
And you what? Oh,
it
you said
bubbled,
okay.
And it was done. I'm like, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
We're done. Yeah. There's more to tea boiling than just the fire, right? Yeah.
That's why you need a good woman as your partner. I liked what you added at the end, though, when you talked about your son. That's what you talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nicholas he started kicking and started participating, and he loves to go. Every chance he gets, he goes and goes to the youth center, goes to Kitty Hall. And like I said in the thing, he's picked up tricks that I picked up that he does now.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because I didn't have to teach him. He learned on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of these sports. You get help from the other competitors, and that's the best part of the games.
Yeah.
It's not just individualism. It's you help the person struggle and achieve what they're trying to do. That's the best part.
That's the best part. Everybody's really encouraging. I think I've said that before when interviewing Guluk and Jerry and all the other people that have been on this show. They all say that it's not just about yourself when you're when you're participating, when you're demonstrating, when it's about being together and encouraging one another. It's unlike any other sport, right?
Yeah. You have the older competitors that used to do it, and they're just sitting there watching you. They're like, "Hey, come here, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to stop doing this, you got to start doing that." You're like, "Okay, well, listen, we did it and it worked." And you know, that's how these games work. You got to pass something down that you've learned.
It sounds like it, and just for me, when I view like the term self-regulation, when you're going through something that's really challenging, and you have to stop and refocus and think it through, how to go through whatever you're challenged, whatever's in front of you, and how to like achieve your goal. It sounds like that's what Northern Games or Arctic sports, that's what they do. Am I describing that correct?
Yeah, and the other competitors see things that you don't see.
Yeah.
And
that's where the encouragement comes from.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It's probably the best part of the sport is everyone sitting there and helping each other and laughing. Yeah.
And one of the funnest things too is that you're never too old to be involved.
No.
I mean, like, with age comes experience.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Yeah, like it seems like every single person who chooses to be involved can be involved, and whether you're starting out as a young child like Nicholas, or you're an older elder like Elder Edward Lunny that passed on, or even our elder Guluk, he just achieved the award. So it seems like there's a place for someone somewhere, whether or not you're helping with the cooking, officiating, volunteering, participating.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like...
I've seen Guluk do crazy things with the games, and some of these kids are getting smarty, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I could do this." And Guluk goes down, he does the ear pull with them, and he just does that and leaves them. And here they are just trying to pull, right? Like,
How much you have to freeze your ears to make them that solid?
I'm still working on it.
That's all I'm wondering. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. Do you want to talk about anything else? Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on with the show?
I just wanted to say that with this past Northern Games that they had and all the kids that were involved, that everything ran smoothly. Everything was great. All the kids had fun. And like we're talking about Nicholas learning things, and I couldn't be more proud of him of the things that he did, because he's doing a lot better than I did when I was his age.
Oh, yeah. He just went out of town was it for Arctic Sports? Is that what he just left for? Yeah.
And they won the event in Yellowknife, and there might be talks of another trip for that group to go somewhere.
Yeah. So what was that? He went out not just to, like, it was a competition?
It was a school competition, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And had a blast. The team won by a lot of points.
So what's that like as a parent now that you're the one having to send your son out?
No, you know, every parent's like,
a little
you
anxious.
gotta go alone.
As if none of us did it. I have anxiety around that. Yeah.
But it's great, like watching Nicholas do the events, go to hockey and stuff like that, watch him play and just how skilled the younger group is compared to how we were. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And I find that what I didn't realize and reflecting on now, like telling stories of us going to like Arctic sports or hockey or skating, so much community, so much, like I almost want to say it's healing, even in our generation, because it's so positive. Like there's negatives to it too, but generally it's just been positive. And I'm really thankful for people like Guluk or people like your Dadak or people like, you know, I'm thankful for all the people that came before us that were there to volunteer, to open up, you know, the kiddie hall or open up the arena or like, and we're there. I'm thankful for that. I think that that's healing in the long run in terms of like our people and just providing all these different sports for us to do. That's what I think at the end of the day. Yeah.
I'm very thankful for people that go out of their way and take the hours, do the things that need to be done for the children. Kids to go in and do something besides
nothing.
Be inside and do nothing. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't have been in Arctic sports or traveled to where I have if it wasn't for our elders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for it. I'm also thankful we didn't grow up with phones.
Yes.
Kyle, we're getting old.
No.
I have a hurt shoulder. I've been making these jokes all week. We're getting old. We're not young anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got back to Tuck and we did a demonstration. I haven't demonstrated in almost a year, almost 2 years. And I got back into it, and I kicked, and I landed, and I was like, man, I gotta start stretching.
That was me when I did a cartwheel. I did a cartwheel back in like 2018. And I was like, I haven't done one of these in 15 years. That hurt. I was like, yeah. I want to tell one more story before we go ahead and finish. Did I tell it already? I don't think I told it on screen. But do you remember when we used to go camping at Husky Lakes? Do you have those memories? You probably have them with Gerald, not with me, because even though I talk about me and Kyle being really good friends, at the end of the day, it was him and Gerald, because they were the guys. Yeah.
We have memories too. Like,
yeah.
We've done things.
I know,
had
but
scary stories told to us.
Oh my God! Yeah, I forgot about that.
Right?
Yeah, I learned that you don't chew on a popsicle stick because of this guy.
Yes.
He chewed on a popsicle stick and he got a sliver in his tongue.
Yes.
That's what I learned.
Thank you.
But I remember like one of my memories of being out on the land though was of our parents, and your mom and your dad had a skidoo and a sled, and my dad had a skidoo, and you and Gerald got to sit in the front of the sled where it's the most bumpy. And I remember slush, and that's probably where I got my fear of traveling too late in the season. But I remember us getting stuck. I don't know if you remember this. We were in Husky Lakes going back to town. There was so much slush. And I remember just watching you and Gerald thinking, I can't go in the front. And then like moments later, we were stuck. And your mom and dad trying to push us out because we had the kids. And I remember thinking, will our sled float? It was not going to sink. It was just slash. But you don't remember that?
No, I got awful memory for a lot of things, but...
That was also in 2000 and... Or wait, no, 1994, 95?
Yeah.
That was way back then.
That was,
yeah, 2000. Oh, well, we're going to talk about the ITH on the highway. What's it like up there right now?
Well, it's
so
it's snowy.
Kyle comes into town. Kyle, he's staying at my house with his family. And it's just like, what, 2 nights it was supposed to be? We're going on day, what, 13?
13, 12, 13,
12 or 13 days. It was supposed to be 2 nights.
Yeah.
Lots of love. We get to practice lots of patience.
Yep.
Lots of cleaning.
Yep.
Lots of people. But what's it like? You went on the convoy back to go home when it was open for a few hours.
Yeah, there was 12 trucks, 13 trucks in that convoy. And the snow's unbelievable.
The snow is high.
Yeah. And just for them to get that one lane open must have been crazy. Because it's high.
Yeah.
Like, it's just close to mirrors like this, the whole, like.
I understand that, like, the trucking companies are trying to do what's safest, the most safest thing possible. But I can't imagine all the people and all the leaders being like, we need this road open. I've never seen snow like this ever in Inuvik.
No, I haven't seen.
It's just never ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how crazy how warm it is right now.
It's going to blow again.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's going to blow again.
Are you going to be at my house for another week?
Next time.
Next time. Next time, come with more clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, so before we end, when we were watching the video, your mom and dad came on. They were on the clip. They were at the end. Your mom seemed very passionate about when she was talking about the Northern Games. And I told Kyle that I'm gonna put it out there. Junior and Lucy, I want you on my show. We just watched the Good Man Good video, and I'm putting it out there that Junior and Lucy, MLA of Nunaptingnun, whenever you're not busy, whenever you're not working hard, come on my show. We could do a show.
Yes.
And they could, and Junior could share all of his stories.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you, Kyle, for coming and spending a good 50 minutes and being on my show.
Yes, 100%. I loved it.
Yes, I really appreciate it. And thank you all for coming in and joining this week's show on the Quyanaq Qaikaffi Pangma Nunaptingnun. That means welcome to where we live now. And we'll see you on the next one.